He left behind a rusted bicycle, a 12-year-old television set, 3 pairs of work boots, and a bank account that made his entire family collapse into tears on the spot. Robert Earl Calloway was born in 1951 in a small town in rural Ohio. The kind of town where everybody knows everybody, where the diner on Main Street has been serving the same breakfast special since 1967, and where the measure of a man was taken by how hard he worked and how honestly he lived. After graduating high school in 1969, Robert skipped college. His family couldn't afford it, and went straight to work at the Midwest manufacturing plant just outside of town. He started on the floor, operating machinery, earning just over $4 an hour. He wore a hard hat and steel-toed boots. He packed his own lunch every single day. He punched in early and punched out late. To everyone who knew them, the Calloways were a perfectly ordinary family living a perfectly ordinary life. No frills, no flash, no extravagance. Robert drove used cars. Patricia sewed her own curtains. They didn't take lavish vacations. They didn't eat at restaurants more than once a month. Their neighbors liked them. Their children loved them. And nobody, not a single person in their lives, ever suspected that behind that modest exterior, something extraordinary was quietly taking shape. Robert Calloway read one book in 1973 that changed the direction of his entire financial life. He didn't talk about it. He didn't lend it to friends or recommend it at family dinners. He read it alone, late at night, after Patricia had gone to sleep and the house was quiet. The book was a simple, personal finance guide. Nothing complicated, nothing revolutionary by today's standards. But it contained one idea that lodged itself so deeply inside Robert's mind that he built his entire financial life around it. The very next week, he opened a brokerage account. This was 1973. There were no smartphone apps, no online platforms, no YouTube tutorials explaining index funds and compound interest. He walked into a brokerage office in the nearest city, sat across from a financial advisor named Gerald, and told him he wanted to invest $50 every single month into a diversified portfolio of stocks, just $50, the equivalent of roughly 2 tanks of gas. Why the secrecy? That question matters more than you might think. Every month, without exception, $50 left Robert's checking account and disappeared into that brokerage account. When he got a small raise in 1978, he increased the contribution to $75. When he got promoted to floor supervisor in 1983, he bumped it to $125. He never touched the principal. He never withdrew dividends. He reinvested everything, automatically, quietly, invisibly. Here's what compound interest actually means in plain English. When you invest money and that money earns a return, the return gets added to your original investment. Then the next period, you're earning a return on a larger amount. Then that return gets added. Then you earn a return on an even larger amount. And on, year after year, decade after decade, the growth accelerates. It starts slow, painfully, frustratingly slow. And then one day, it doesn't. Life inside the Calloway house during those decades was, by most external measures, unremarkable. Robert and Patricia lived simply. They drove modest cars. They took one road trip to the Grand Canyon in 1991 and considered it the adventure of their lives. They helped their kids with college tuition, community college, practical degrees, nothing they couldn't manage with careful saving. Patricia learned the truth in 2001. Robert told her on their 25th wedding anniversary, sitting at the kitchen table over coffee. He showed her the account statement. She stared at it for a very long time without speaking. Then she looked at her husband. This man she had lived with for 25 years. This man she thought she knew completely. And she said, quietly, "Robert, what is this?" Robert Calloway died on a Tuesday morning in March of 2019. He was 67 years old. A heart attack, quiet and sudden, the way some people who worked hard their whole lives seem to go. He was at home. Patricia was with him. He had been retired for 15 years by then, living out his days with crossword puzzles and bird feeders and long, slow walks around the neighborhood. A few weeks after the funeral, Daniel and Claire sat in the office of an estate attorney named Harold Simmons. Patricia sat beside them, her hands folded in her lap, her expression unreadable. The room smelled like old books and worn leather. Harold had a large manila folder on his desk. Nobody in that room was expecting anything remarkable. Harold opened the folder and began to explain the estate. There was the house on Elmwood Drive, which would go to Patricia. There was a small savings account with around $8,000. There was a pension that would continue to support Patricia. And then Harold paused. He looked up over his reading glasses at the two siblings sitting across from him. Patricia was the only one who wasn't shocked. She sat with her hands folded and her eyes soft and her chin lifted just slightly, the way a person sits when they are holding something precious and they have been holding it for a very long time. Inside the estate folder, there was an envelope. Harold slid it across the desk after giving the family a moment to collect themselves. On the front, in Robert's careful handwriting, it read, "For Daniel and Claire. Read this together. If you're reading this, then I'm gone, and Harold has already shown you the account. I imagine you have a lot of questions. I'll try to answer them." Daniel folded the letter and set it on the table. He didn't say anything for a while. Neither did Claire. The attorney sat quietly, understanding that some moments require nothing from the people who are merely witness to them. Let me walk you through what Robert actually did, because understanding the mechanics is just as important as understanding the story. Now, here's the thing about this story that I want you to sit with for a moment. There are people watching this right now who are in their 20s, thinking they have plenty of time to get serious about money later. And people in their 30s telling themselves that once things settle down, they'll start investing. And people in their 40s looking at their retirement savings and feeling a quiet dread that they push to the back of their minds because it's too uncomfortable to sit with. Daniel left that attorney's office and drove home in silence. That night, after his wife had gone to sleep, he sat at the kitchen table with his laptop and opened a brokerage account. He started with $200 a month. It wasn't the perfect amount. It wasn't everything he could have done, but it was a start. And it was that night. Not someday. Not eventually. That night. The secret bank account that Robert Calloway opened in 1973 was not really a secret about money. It was a secret about faith. Faith that small things, done consistently, matter. Faith that patience is not weakness, but the most powerful financial strategy ever discovered. Faith that the life you build quietly, without fanfare, without validation, without anyone telling you that you're doing the right thing, that life is just as real and just as meaningful as any flashier version of success. $50 a month. That's all it took in 1973. The equivalent amount today is within reach for more people than will ever act on it. The knowledge is available. The platforms are available. The tools are available. The only thing standing between most people and the beginning of their own version of Robert's story is the decision to make it. Because the greatest inheritance you will ever leave your children is not money. It's the understanding of how money works. It's the example of a life lived with discipline, purpose, and quiet certainty. It's a letter on notebook paper that they will read after you're gone and understand. Finally, completely understand who you were and what you were building all along.